Charean, Week 11 is upon us. It's time to talk about the things we can't wait to see, and we selected that amalgamation of sound because that leads into your first choice.
It does. I want to see if the Raiders can take another victory lap on the Chiefs. And, hey, whatever gets you motivated, but it was hilarious to me that this came from the Chiefs, considering they're the team that, among other things, in 2016, if you remember, they were blowing out the Denver Broncos, and they decided to have Dontari Poe, out of fun, throw a touchdown pass in the final 2 minutes to run up the score on the Broncos. So, these rivalries in the AFC West, like a lot of these divisions, are intense. And this is one of the most intense rivalries in football, and I am excited to see this one on Sunday. And the Chiefs last year, they avenged a couple of losses. They avenged a loss to the Texans in the regular season, did that in the postseason. They avenged a loss to the Titans in the regular season in the postseason. They get another chance at the Raiders before the postseason even gets here. And look out, Raiders, who've had some COVID issues this week that's going to make it much harder to duplicate what they did the last time.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. All those guys on the COVID-19 reserve list, plenty of them eligible to come back, but they won't be prepared for the game, and that gives the Chiefs a bit of an edge. And the Chiefs, when their full focus is devoted to an opponent, they seem to be much better because, think about it, week in and week out, they're always getting the absolute A-plus game of everyone they play. It's a measuring stick. It's a mini Super Bowl. Can we take down the champions? The Raiders, unfortunately for them now, were fortunate enough to do it 5 weeks ago, which only means you're not going to sneak up on the Chiefs this time, and it's going to be a challenge to slow them down. So maybe the Chiefs will be taking the victory lap around the giant Roomba in the desert, which is the new Raiders Stadium. All right, I can't wait to see what Aaron Rodgers does against that vaunted and underrated Colts defense. They won't have Danico Autry this week. He's on COVID, but they have plenty of other great players, and the story about Aaron Rodgers all year long has been, what help does he really have? Aaron Jones has been banged up. He should be good to go. Devontae Adams is banged up. Who knows what he ultimately will be able to do? Marquez Valdez-Scantling was great last week. So, there is help for Aaron Rodgers, but maybe not enough as they face arguably the best defense they've seen all year. And this is an opportunity for them to continue to tighten their grip on the number one seed in the NFC, while the NFC West teams fight amongst themselves and weaken each other's records, and while the Saints try to hold on with Drew Brees out. This really is the chance for the Packers to run away with home field advantage and the all-important only one team gets it per conference bye that's going to be available coming up in January, assuming the playoff field doesn't expand to 16, Charean.
Hey, you know what, Mike? We talk about motivation. Darius Leonard said he wanted to prove to Aaron Rodgers that he was the best linebacker in football. You'll remember back in that 49ers game, Aaron Rodgers went up to Fred Warner and said, "You're the best linebacker in football." Well, Darius Leonard heard that, so he snapped back this week and said Lamar Jackson was a much more dangerous quarterback to face than Aaron Rodgers. So this thing's getting really interesting here with the Colts, the number one defense in football, and wanting to prove that. And Matt Eberflus, frankly, has to be right up there in assistant coach of the year with what he's done with that defense. They've been terrific.
Yeah, and the team, they have that up and down vibe, but they have been far more up than down. They just kind of get overlooked. They slide into the big spot at 425 Eastern thanks to the luster being gone from the Cowboys and the Vikings game. So we'll get to keep a close eye on what the Packers and the Colts can do against each other. Both need the game. All right, Charean, what else can't you wait to see?
I can't wait to see a rematch between the Ravens and the Titans. We talked about some of these games in the postseason that we saw. And, we remember Derrick Henry running for 195 yards, and Lamar Jackson didn't play like the Lamar Jackson who won the MVP award in the regular season. And they really, frankly, kind of dominated that game. And a lot of the moves that the Ravens made in the offseason were intended to stop teams like the Titans that could really run the ball. They traded for Calais Campbell. They signed Derek Wolfe. And now you have Campbell and Brandon Williams are injured, and they've got to have guys step up, and they didn't last week. And the Patriots ran for 173 yards against them. So I think Derrick Henry's going to have a very big game in this game. But this game, to me, is very crucial for both of these teams with where they stand. Neither team can afford to lose this game. The Titans have been on this mini kind of losing streak over the past 4 games. They have not played well. They're in a nip and tuck race with the Colts for the division. And then the Ravens are just so far back of the Steelers. Important game for both of these teams.
And a point that Peter King made earlier today on PFT Live, the loss of Taylor Lewan, their left tackle for the season, that coincided with the dip in the offensive production. Still was strange earlier this week when quarterback Ryan Tannehill was the one explaining to the media why there's been a deliberate effort to reduce Derrick Henry's touches. They were 5-0 when Derrick Henry was getting the ball as much as he was, but maybe that absence of Taylor Lewan makes it harder to generate the kind of offense they had. But this is huge because one of these two teams could end up missing the playoffs, and whoever loses on Sunday and falls to 6-4 is going to be in a potential mess down the stretch because the AFC very competitive for those playoff berths. I can't wait to see, even though the game itself means absolutely nothing, Joe Burrow, the first overall pick in the draft, and Chase Young, the second overall pick. At one time, Ohio State teammates, Urban Meyer tweeted out that photo of Chase Young trying to sack Joe Burrow in practice and looked like he was not respecting the quarterback don't touch him jersey in the photo that Meyer tweeted. But Joe Burrow has been touched plenty by defensive linemen this year. He gets hit a lot. He keeps going. And I guess one thing he has to be ready for is the possibility he's going to be hit after he throws the ball, because that's what Chase Young did on Sunday to set up the Lions for the game-winning field goal. I doubt that Chase Young will ever do that one again. But that adds a little luster to a game that otherwise you look at and say 2-6-1 versus 2-7. Who the hell cares? That's a reason to care about that game.
It is, and Chase Young has a chance to get back in the Defensive Rookie of the Year conversation. We've kind of forgotten about him. He had 2 great games, got hurt, and then started getting double teams when he came back. We kind of forgot about him, but he has a chance now, Mike, to get back in that conversation.
All right, what do you have next on your list, Charean?
Well, I want to see if the Cowboys' best player, according to Jerry Jones, is going to show up against the best running back in the NFL this season, and they go head-to-head. I mean, they're not on the field at the same time, obviously, but Ezekiel Elliott, it was curious to me that Jerry Jones today called Ezekiel Elliott the Cowboys' best player, and I don't agree with it. I don't even know if he's their best running back. Tony Pollard has averaged 4.4 yards a carry to Elliott's 3.8. Elliott leads all running backs with 4 fumbles. And you know what? He's almost 400 yards behind Dalvin Cook in the rushing race. He's not going to win it. He's won it 2 times. Dalvin Cook is the reason that the Vikings arrow is pointed up. And to me, Ezekiel Elliott is the reason other than losing Dak Prescott. But he hasn't stepped up since Prescott got out of the lineup. And that is the reason the Cowboys arrow is pointed down, even though they remain in the NFC East race.
I don't know what Jerry's thinking saying Ezekiel Elliott's the best player on the team, but he always has his reasons, even if there really is no reason for saying whatever it is that he chooses to say. And I don't write the Cowboys off in this one. The Vikings defense has been suspect at times, and that 2 weeks to get ready and Andy Dalton coming back, maybe they can find a way to play like they did a couple of weeks ago against the Steelers. And maybe
reverse jinx.
It's not an emotional hedge or reverse jinx. It's just reality. It's, we should have some sort of a wager on this game if we either of us gave a crap about either of these teams right now. They both stink. Even though the Vikings have won 3 in a row, they got a long way to go to truly get themselves into playoff contention. And they've got 3 straight home games that they should win. And if they win all 3 of them and go into Tampa Bay 7-5, that's when I'll start taking them seriously again. All right. One thing that I continue to take seriously, and I hope the league takes it seriously, and this isn't something I can't wait to see in I'm excited for it. It's more of a constant gnawing anxiety that we are just one moment away from an announcement from a team that a huge swath of players is going to be placed on the COVID-19 reserve list, and they just can't play their game on Sunday. So it's a constant gnawing nervousness that, for me, it's getting greater and greater as we get closer to Sunday. Because even though a lot of us in the media and a lot of fans have become desensitized to this constant stream of, hey, there's a guy on COVID-19. Hey, there's another guy. I mean, we've had a few more pop through just during the time that we've been on the air, Charean. I have this dread that at any given moment, the first game that's going to be postponed and not made up unless there's a Week 18 is coming, And I think once they cross that bridge, it's going to be hard to not have more games. I think it's indicative and it's reflective of what's going on currently in society. And football has been its own kind of ecosystem where it's been able, professional football, not college by any means, professional football has been able to wall it off. I think the walls are crumbling. And that's not, I'm trying to jinx the NFL or I'm rooting against. It's reality. It's reality, folks. And anybody who cares about the sport and wants to see the full season get played would have to have a sense of dread right now that this may not hold together as we get deeper and deeper into the year and as the virus spreads more and more.
One team's fan base, Mike, that probably wouldn't mind having a game postponed or canceled is the New York Jets. And I can't wait to see if they're going to get their first win because I think they have a chance this week, a slim chance, but they do have a chance. But they are running out of chances when you start looking at their schedule. Cleveland maybe on December 27th, New England maybe on January 3rd, but I'm not thinking they win. To me, this is the best chance they have for a win they have left on their schedule.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.